Let me welcome to the show not only Drew McCaskill, but let me welcome back the one and only attorney extraordinaire. She's out in them streets saving the world, Midwin Charles.
Hey, Karen, how are you?
I am awesome. I'm awesome. How are you? How's your family?
We're good. We're good. I can't complain. Complain. We are good. Thank God. Yeah.
Yes, because we haven't talked since the corona. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone's good. So Terry Crews, who is hosting a lot of stuff, he's out there working a lot because it's funny how money changes situations. So he tweeted last night something to the effect that defeating white supremacy, I'm going to read this, defeating white supremacy without white people creates black supremacy. Equality is the truth. Like it or not, we are all in this together. Your thoughts, Midwin Charles?
You know, I saw that on Twitter, and my response was that, Obama gift, like what does that, I don't even know what that means. I really don't. I mean, it's a word salad, right? It's just a bunch of words thrown in together with a little bit of
but he put black supremacy in there. I've never heard that term before anywhere.
It doesn't even make any sense. I mean, there is nothing that black people could do right now if the tables turned automatically that would equate to 400 years of systemic oppression in America. It doesn't even make any sense at all. Like, what is he talking about? When I saw it, I was like, what are you talking about?
Drew McCaskill, your thoughts?
I think Terry Crews needs to stick to pick jumps and whatever it is that he's doing right now, because I just want somebody to take his phone away. Black supremacy, it's hard to even imagine what the definition of that even looks like. So I'm with you on that, Midwin, but I think that it's one of those things where there's so many black people who are upset about other black people being free, and other black people saying enough, or other black people uprising, or other black people getting out of line. I watched Guess Who's Coming to Dinner this past week, right? And Isabel Sanford, the amazing Isabel Sanford, Wheezy from the Jeffersons, she played the housekeeper when when this black man comes to her good white people's house and is going to get married to her good white people's daughter. And she's this black housekeeper, and the brother comes in and she says, "I don't like it when black people get out of line." And this is a black woman who's saying that, right? And I think that there's a certain kind of black person that says, "I don't like it when the other blacks get out of line, because they're making it look bad for all the rest of us who have done a good job at staying between the white man's line." Right?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Listen, Martin Luther King, at the time of his death, had a negative approval rating in the black community because black people felt black people did not rock with Martin Luther King. We have immortalized him, of course, and we have romanticized him, of course. But at the time of his death, he had a negative approval rating in the black community because many black people felt he was making it harder for them. And maybe in the case of Terry Crews and others, our freedom expression means that maybe they don't get that next check. Maybe there's such a shift in the universe right now in corporate America that a shucking and jiving, peck jumping black man, we were just talking about the restaurant Sambo, is not the ideal anymore. Yeah, because black people.
Well, what I find interesting about this is the same Terry Crews who was very vocal and transparent about being sexually assaulted by another man in Hollywood. And at that time, everyone came to his defense. Everyone was supportive of him, including the black community. And every single time you see Terry Crews' name in the news, it's of him saying something ridiculous and something that's not supportive of the very same people who supported him. Because when he came out and said that he was sexually abused, it was the first time that the Me Too movement had started to talk about men as victims of sexual assault and sexual violence. And he had, sorry for the fire trucks in the background, but he had the support of so many people. And then when you saw what happened with, I think, was it Gabrielle Union? And
yes, Gabrielle Union.
And
right. America's Got Talent.
So America's Got Talent. And then he went on TV and said that, well, he wasn't sure that it was that big of a deal. And it's just like every single time his name is trending, it's always for something that is not supportive of the Black community or of Black people. And I'm all for people speaking and talking about issues. I just think that he needs someone to help him perhaps better articulate the point that he's trying to make.
Maybe he should. I'm with Drew. I think he should. I don't think he has the capacity to have a conversation about this right now, Midwin and Drew. And maybe there's also that Isabel Sanford that still lurks in the spirit of too many Black people, where I need to protect my good white people. I need them to know that I'm not like these folk out there. I see them. I know that you're not racist. Not all white people are racist. And if we're not careful, then it's going to be Black supremacy. Without understanding that white supremacy is a power structure, there can never be a such thing as Black supremacy, because the power structure is always in juxtaposition of Blackness, which is always going to be at the bottom of this structure.
Karen,
my God.
But even if you flipped all things the way they are today overnight, it would still not equal the 400 years.
But you would have to admit, when you would have to not be watching Black people. Barack Obama was president of the United States for 8 years. He didn't institute slavery for white people. He didn't pack the courts with judges that were going to oppress white people. He didn't make sure that the judges all out over this country were going to put laws into place that would oppress white people. And when Black people get in charge of companies, they don't fire white people. They don't make sure white people don't get hired. It's not our nature. If you've been watching us for 400 years, we're never going to do to you what you did to us. Your fear is about you. You're judging us based on what you've done. This is crazy, Terry Crews, that he would even put a phrase out there.
Right. It's the same reason why when you see sort of white America losing their minds with some of the looting and some of the violence, the concern there is game recognizes game. They recognize violence. They recognize the looting. They've mastered it. They've mastered it. So it's sad to me, though, to see someone like a Terry Crews, who is positioned in the space that he's in, who's earning the money that he's earning. It's sad to me to see someone like him not use the bully pulpit, particularly at a time when, like you just said earlier, Karen, anyone who's speaking out right now would probably be protected from being fired at their job. So if this was ever a time to speak out and to kind of stand up and talk about systemic racism and racism on the job, the time is now. Like, if you really wanted to say something and take a moment of boldness and maybe risk it all, this is the time. I mean, the NFL is apologizing for how they treated Colin Kaepernick. If this wasn't time for you to stand up,
they never mentioned his name, Midwin. They never mentioned his name, for legal reasons.
I get that, but if this isn't the time to stand up and say, I believe in equal justice under the law for Black people and all peoples, I don't know when is.
Right. You got Mitt Romney out talking about Black Lives Matter and Terry Crews out apologizing to white folks for the Negroes stepping out of line. Come on now. Because that's what it sounds like. That's what I internalize it as, is like, even when he was like, that was never my experience with America's Got Talent. And though I respect Gabrielle Union, that was never my experience. Why are you even talking about it then?
Right.
Why are you even bringing it up? Right?
Right.
Like, that's my problem with a certain
I agree.
response.
Yeah. Yeah, my thing is, if you can't be supportive of Black people, then, shut up. But if you're trying to make a point, articulate it a little bit better. But if you can't make that point without stepping on a Black person's neck, don't do it.
And let me tell you something. For all of the Black people who are contemplating apologizing to white folks for this moment in time, white folks going to be okay. Y'all, you don't even have to worry about it. White folks are going to be okay.
And they always will. Exhibit A.
Yeah, I got a good
Exhibit
deal in this go round. Yeah. I'm willing to stake my whole good deal on the fact that white folks going to be okay.
I'm with you. Look at Amy Cooper. Miss Amy Cooper from Central Park.
She got her dog back?
She got her dog back. And chances are she'll probably get another job. Like, she going to be okay.
Yeah, she will. Tyler James Williams, who played Terry Crews' son on Everybody Hates Chris, he played the Chris character. He issued a response to Terry Crews, and he said, "Terry, brother, I know your heart, and you know I have love for you and always will. No one is calling for black supremacy, and the narrative that we are hurts our cause and our people. We're just vigorously vetting our allies because time and time again they have failed us in the past." Thank you, Tyler.